to reconvene.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Lutz?
Yes.
Councilman Davis?
Yes.
Council Vice President DeGirolamo?
Yes.
Councilman McVeigh?
Yes.
Council President Colbert?
Yes. Okay, next on the list is the bill list.
The current fund, $1,117,048.86. State and federal grants, $4,916.25. Sewage utility fund, $183,959.70. Planning board trust fund, $711.55. Bridge development, $3,787.50. Section 8, $101.25. For a regular bill list of $1,310,525.11. Section 8 rent payments, $144,619. There were bills from the prior meeting. Robert Johnson, $950, and Penn Teledata, $212.97. The prepaid bill list, the current fund, $1,894.62. State and federal grants, $39,128. Agency fund, $147,404.49. For a prepaid bill list of $188,427.11. Grand total of all funds, $1,644,521.22.
Motion to adopt the bill list?
Second.
Councilman Lutz?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Councilman
For my second.
Check 73751, Brown's Hunted and Matt. Do we have a contract on the truck repairs, a professional service?
Seven.
73751. It's almost $5,000.
Oh, the sanitation.
Yes. That doesn't fall under a professional service contract or anything precluding it from bidding? Usually we award things of that number.
I'm not sure what
Is it an emergency?
I'm not sure what that was for.
It's garbage truck.
That's what I'm assuming.
Sanitation.
I think it's the
I would
sweep.
well imagine it's an emergency sweep to take it down to Browns.
Okay.
Nobody knows. Let's see. The infield mix, check 73771. Which field did we prepare? Do we know?
Mayor, I believe that's you.
Which field was that for? Was that Bentley Field?
I do. Are you asking me? or-
Yeah.
Yes, sir, Mayor.
Yes.
Was
I
Bentley-
do believe it was the relining of Delaware Heights Field.
Oh, Delaware Heights?
Yeah, they changed all the lining and sizes of the field for soccer. There was some new rule for soccer. It's under recreation, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah. That is-
No, I
that
think
is-
it's on Buildings and Grounds Act. I just wanted to know if we were going to see that for baseball season as well, because I didn't remember seeing any
No,
for baseball.
this was soccer. I don't believe you'll see that for these. Our recreation seasonal has a whole list for council of what will be done in the spring.
Excellent.
Okay, thank you. Then I'm okay with that. As well as, that's it. We don't need to pull it. I just wanted to know if that met the criteria to exclude it from a contract service being needed.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, I do believe that that's for the sweeper truck, so.
It is the sweeper.
Okay, the mayor's just confirmed the sweeper truck, something definitely the town needs. Councilman Davis.
I have no items.
Councilman McVeigh.
Good, sir.
I do have one. I'd like to request that we hold check number 73853, the amount of $1,017 to landlord Brian Manning. Mr. Manning owns 241 Moore Street, and the tenant residing there has no electricity because there is no electrical box. I've spoken to the tenant, and their account is current. However, Mr. Manning's being charged for a new electrical box, as the older box was faulty, thereby causing the tenant to be overcharged. She has since been reimbursed by JCP&L. However, Mr. Manning refuses to pay for the new electrical box to JCP&L, therefore they won't come out and install it. The young lady is a single mother, 2 daughters. She's using battery-operated lights and a grill to cook food in her home, all the while trying to collect the $1,000 in Section 8 rent payments for his home. I'm pretty sure this should probably be investigated, and I would absolutely ask council to hold this check, because there's no way we're going to get a grip on these landlords. It's an abuse of practice. I really think it should be reported.
Is this the one Mr. Rooney mentioned?
You know what? Coincidentally, I do believe that it is.
Okay. All right. I need a motion to pull that one?
I request to approve the council.
So moved.
Second.
A motion to adopt bill list as amended.
So moved.
Vicky, that's just strictly with the removal of check number 73853.
You need to vote on pulling?
Yep. No. Just motion to adopt. Roll call.
Councilman Lutz?
Yes.
Councilman Davis?
Yes.
Council Vice President DeGirolamo?
Yes.
Councilman McShay?
Yes.
Excuse me. Council President Freeman?
Yes. Okay, next up is our discussion. We have Stan Schreck, the town engineer, on hand for a moratorium on road openings for Nickmar Holdings LLC and 480 Purcell Street. Was there a company for 480 Purcell Street, or is it just a private road? Okay. Stan,
Yeah,
how are you?
I'm doing well. I didn't have the agenda, so I'm going
Councilman Davis, good luck.
to,
You're welcome.
good night. Yeah, I'm just going to talk about the cup on this thing. It says moratorium on road opening. It's kind of a misnomer. We don't have a moratorium on road opening. There's a procedure that's filed in the ordinance. It says if we pave and resurface the road within 5 years, we have to follow a different procedure. A, there's a higher fee for the road opening permit. And then there's 3 parameters. I'm not going to list the numbers on those, but this is what they are. And 2 of them I can issue the permit for. One being if it's actually an emergency, somebody has to get into the road and open it because there's a break or something. Or, as we've done in the past, if somebody's in need of getting heat, they can't do it. There's different reasons for an emergency. The second one is, and it's ambiguous, and we should look into the ordinance. It says if the improvement to the property is more than 60%, period. Like, what does that mean? 60% value, 60% square foot, or 60% volume? I don't know. That's not defined. The third is come to the council for a waiver. And the council has to decide whether we want to put a patch into a road that we recently paved. And I've been your town engineer since 05, 06, I can't really remember. And I have to tell you, we really discouraged that from happening. Now, we have people that come in and they do want to invest in our town and try to improve it and make things better. I think that's something that you have to listen to. So, 2018, there are newer technologies that help with some of these road openings, and you may have heard that they can infrared the patch. It's not inexpensive to do. It's a large machine that comes out, they'll open a patch, and then it'll come down, it'll heat it, and the asphalt's going to blend together a little bit better. You'll still see the patch, but we know the asphalt's going to be bonded and joined together. So this is one. I know there's 3 others that are backed up on this, and as we become more aggressive with our road paving program, because what we're doing with all the utilities now, I think we're going to see a lot more of these. And we can't go and notify everybody that we're going to be coming along and paving. That's kind of impossible. So my recommendation would be to require that infrared repair be done within that 5-year period. and we revise the ordinance accordingly. I'll work with the attorney to change some of that language in it. So that would be my recommendations.
Stan, I've spoken to the owners of the Summit Avenue property, which are the Nickmar Holdings, and the infrared patch was brought up by the gas company. They did state.
We talked to them ahead of this meeting, yes.
Okay,
Yes,
so they did agree to do that. If you, with your direction, if council were to vote for that specific moratorium this evening, would you be in favor of that as long as they're using the infrared patch?
As long as they're using the infrared patch, I don't think we can deny people opening the road. They're going to happen.
Right.
Okay, they're going to happen. I would still like the council to give a waiver for those when they're going to happen. I don't think that should be the sole decider of that. I feel comfortable doing that, but I think in the language that we put down in that, they come back and we guarantee that they do the infrared on it. If they're opening within a 5-year period, the council should know about it.
Excellent. I appreciate that. Did we hear about Purcell Street? Was there going to be that type of patch, or has that not?
I haven't heard about that. I didn't Shelley, my office might have known. I haven't heard of that, but we'll follow the same procedure if that happens.
Okay.
All right, so I would suggest we come back with language to revise the ordinance after this, but we'll proceed as you just said.
Excellent. Would you be able to work with Attorney Winter to get us an ordinance?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. Are you going to hang out?
I'm hanging out.
All right, excellent, because I'm going to need
Love
you
it.
back for the redevelopment plan.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Dan. Okay, so we have a decision to make, and I guess we will go ahead and do it one by one, or would you like to, you guys want to do them together?
Are you doing it as a resolution?
Yes, it would be a resolution.
And then we have to add it.
Yep. So it would be a resolution to approve the road openings for Nickmar Holdings at Vicky, is that 161?
Read the resolution number?
No, the Summit Avenue property.
Oh.
Nope. I heard the young lady yell out from the back, and she told me that it was up in the top corner. Where did you see it, man? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I heard you yell out and had said that you had saw the address. No?
No, I don't think that was the,
Oh, okay. Okay.
I know it's.
Yeah, I know it's Summit Avenue. We can go ahead and just add the address after. So, my personal, I mean, we can start we'll do a motion first. Motion to approve the moratorium on Summit Avenue?
Do we need to do it conditionally based on the infrared?
I would say yes, to make sure that language is in there.
Yes, and if I that gentleman was 480 that I just walked out with.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't realize that. It's the same situation. The gas company's already aware.
That street's pretty well dug up in pictures I sent.
Yes, it was. So that has, because the water company was working there also, but the gas company will do the infrared also. Right, but if we get that into the ordinance, I think we're good.
okay, excellent. So as long as we have that written into the ordinance.
Yeah, the ordinance will give an actual DOT specification to reference back to how the infrared patch is done.
Okay. Councilman Lucia, I guess we would need a motion first. Motion to approve the moratorium on road openings for Summit Avenue.
So moved.
Yeah, you want to do them all in one? Motion to approve the, for Nickmar Holdings and 480 Purcell Street. Okay. Discussion? Councilman Lutz?
No.
Council Vice President?
No.
Councilman Davis? Councilman McVeigh?
No, sir.
The only thing I will say is I had an opportunity to speak with Nickmar Holdings. I beat up landlords on the daily sitting up here. I will say this, speaking with both partners of Nickmar Holdings, these are the types of landlords we want to bring into the town of Phillipsburg. They do background checks. They will not rent out. They're very, I guess what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, diligent. There you go, diligent.
They won't rent
They're very-
unless they're employed.
Correct. they make sure they're bringing in the right people, right? Because that's their investment. And that's what we need to make sure happens here in the town of Phillipsburg. So I absolutely will support this, especially for Nick Mar Holdings. I'm actually hoping that they purchase more properties and fix them up the way they do. So there you go. It's a landlord I didn't beat up here at the podium. Roll call vote, Vicky.
Councilman Lutz?
Yes.
Councilman Davis?
You need to work
Oh,
on this. Sorry, that part,
7:45.
left, 7:45.
Council Vice President DeGirolamo?
Yes.
Councilman McVeigh?
Yes.
Council President Colfer?
Yes. Okay, motion passes. The next up is Nicole Timberman. She has a presentation called Let's Redevelop This. For those who were not in attendance at the work session, Ms. Timberman did such an excellent job. She ran out of time. We didn't let her finish, so she's coming back this evening to discuss this with us. Ms. Timberman, the floor is yours.
I brought my 7th grade science project with me again.
I have it.
Oh, look, you're so fancy. I have a fancier one tonight. Am I allowed to talk? I wasn't sure. I have 2 things that I printed out for those of you who weren't here at the last town council workshop last week. I just wrote something up real quick called Let's Redevelop This. Vicki was nice enough to print up some copies that she has up here. I will pass these. This is one that I'm going to reference tonight. This is the one that I had last week. If you guys just want to look over it while I'm going over a few things, if anybody's interested, if not, just pass it to the person next to you. I'm actually very excited after getting up here and speaking last week that I'm not the only voice. A lot of people in town feel the same way I do about the redevelopment plan, the riverfront redevelopment plan. We are not against it, we just would like to see it go in a different direction. The Town of Phillipsburg website describes Phillipsburg as a beautiful setting of rolling hills, woodlands, and flowing waters where you can escape from the crowded, impersonal developments and find the joys of living in a close-knit community of families and friends as you enjoy all the advantages of urban living as well as a rural atmosphere. It is a place where the beauty, culture, tourism, and recreational activities are enhanced with a growing base of small and mid-sized businesses. Keywords, small and mid-sized businesses. I don't see, and I read the original redevelopment plan and I read the amended redevelopment plan. I don't see anywhere in this where it's small businesses, mid-sized businesses. These are all large-scale, 3, 4, some of them are even 5-story buildings. That's not what your Town of Phillipsburg website is saying. Just a few things that I just wanted to look over here. I also noticed in the proposed riverfront redevelopment Phillipsburg Highlands, it ends before 97% of the businesses on South Main Street. You're ending before the train. You're ending before those restaurants and those smaller businesses. Why are we not redeveloping any of that? Some of the buildings, someone took these pictures for me. I have an anonymous accomplice. I don't have all the time to drive around and take these pictures. I'm very grateful. These are all of the empty storefronts that go from the moment you cross over the Delaware River all the way up until you're welcome to Phillipsburg with the Agway building. Just a few staggering statistics that I was very upset to read because I live in a bubble. I live in Delaware Heights. I work, travel, play, shop 2.5 miles from my house. I don't go downtown. I don't go downtown for anything. So I don't realize the town that I grew up in, the town that my family grew up in, has become what it has become. With a population of just under 15,000 people, your household median income is just under $45,000. Your per capita income is just under $25,000. That means each person in the household contributing is making around $25,000 a year, with an average household size of 3.1. Now just to put this into perspective, New Jersey, the rest of the state of New Jersey versus Phillipsburg as itself. The average median household for Phillipsburg, like I stated, was just under $55,000. The average median household income for the state of New Jersey is around $76,000. The average house value in Phillipsburg is just under $140,000 a year. The average home value in the state of New Jersey, now this is a median, so they're taking the larger, they're taking the smaller, and they're picking the number in the middle, is $328,000. That's triple what we have to offer here. And Phillipsburg is surviving on a staggering 29.3% people living below poverty level, as the state of New Jersey is 13.9%. How do we fix that? You'd redevelop your downtown. You make these buildings somewhere where people want to go. I, just balling around, came up with some ideas that I thought would draw people in, it would draw in tourism, but it wouldn't shun the people of the town here. The people who live in this town, the people who work in this town can still have something that appeals to them. So just imagine with me, as you cross the building, or as you cross the river, the building that's right in front of you, the brick building with the beautiful teal, a speakeasy on the lower level with a murder mystery style restaurant up above. Now, I don't know if anybody's familiar with what a speakeasy is, but it's really, it's an up and coming thing. They have one in Bethlehem. So you walk in, and I think the architecture of this building really is, that's just what it says to me. That's just what it says to me. It says, I'm haunted. I'm cool. Come in and look at me. So a speakeasy would look like a bookstore in the front, and then it's a bar on just the other side. The other buildings to the right, as you're driving up South Main Street, you want to bring in big box retailers? Fine. Your Phillipsburg Mall's dying. It's dying. Relocate some of those downtown here. Put them in that storefront. That's going to, you want to draw the people across? That's going to draw people. I'm at the farmer's market on a Sunday, and I just got an email saying, Victoria's Secret is running a special. Hey, let's hop over to Phillipsburg and stop at the Victoria's Secret on our way home from the farmer's market. Put Victoria's Secret in one of those buildings. Put the Hallmark store, K Jewelers, things that have been in the mall since the mall opened, and they've been able to survive in this area and in this market. My favorite building, one of my favorite buildings downtown. The One Stop Career Center. Your main building has 24,000 square feet, a hotel. Hold on, I had that right now. An average hotel is 48,000 square feet. This building is just half that size. Running 115 rooms with an average square footage of 325 square feet per room. So with a building of 24,000 square feet, which is half the size of a regular hotel, you just lessen it to the amount of rooms. That's still more hotel rooms than we already have. Some other things that I had an idea for would be an open style market, the Riverview Arts Center having a homebrew style business where you offer classes, tastings, and the overall education process of the new interest in home brewery. An art center in the bank on the left. A community art center where you can showcase your local arts, paint and sifts, a youth art program, art themes that tie into the train, and an adult senior citizen art therapy program. Now here's another thing, I know a little bit about this, I've done direct sales. In your storefronts, offer direct sale pop-ups. You have direct sale vendors and like vendor fairs who are paying $800 a table for a weekend in a mall, in Monmouth, in Menlo Park Mall, in those types of things. So offer them a storefront where they can showcase and sell their direct sale things for $1,600 a month. You're already making more rent than what you're making with an empty building, and you're selling it to them because they're paying less money than they would to be in one of the malls. Direct sale person-to-person selling is 63.5% of the business model in direct sales. An average 74% of Americans have purchased goods and services through direct sales. The United States is the top producing country in direct sales revenue at $29.8 billion. And just a few of your direct sale companies, and if anybody does any kind of shopping, I know I like to. LuLaRoe, Pampered Chef, Scentsy, 31, Perfectly Posh. Every woman loves jewelry, things that smell good, clothes, and things that are gonna make us look prettier. I would go down there and shop. Fly fishing shop, possibly? A recent study by the American Sporting Association discovered that recreational fishing is an economical powerhouse. More than 46 million licensed anglers generate over $48 billion in retail sales, with $115 billion impact on the nation's economy. The Delaware River and the Lopakon Creek provide optimal selling opportunities for supplies, fishing, guided tours, and the education of the overall fishing experience. Now, why do I say fly fishing versus a bait shop? Fly fishing is on the higher end of things. So it's just going to be a little bit more expensive and bring in a different revenue of people. A train depot. The building right there by where you would get on the train, in that apex of South Main Street and Market Street. A fast and kid-friendly food option. Now imagine, where would you stop? A truck stop. If you're traveling on the Parkway, on the Turnpike, I would stop at a very well-lit truck stop. I know it's going to be a clean bathroom, somewhere where I can go with my kids, somewhere where I can get a quick bite to eat and get back on the road. The train people, that's what they want. They want a quick bite to eat, a clean bathroom, and somewhere where they can go to get on the train. I'm not exactly sure why we don't have a train and trolley museum either. And where I'm going with all of this, and how I see all of this being able to be pulled together, is with the train enterprise. The train enterprise, the possibilities are endless, where local businesses can adjust their themes to coincide with the train. You have the Great Pumpkin Train, you have the Wine Train, you have a 23rd Historical House Tour that is a one-day event that's going to run on October 20th. Why, as the town of Phillipsburg, are we not partnering with that historical train and running something in Phillipsburg itself? Phillipsburg could run a historical house tour alongside this one-day event. Education-rich experience geared towards adults with a possible ghost tour and a psychic medium event. And you can set up your festival in Chappelle Park with local vineyards and food vendors. The Polar Express. Turn South Main Street into the North Pole. Turn South Main Street into the North Pole. Put outside speakers that play Christmas music the whole time. It runs from November 23rd to December 16th, running only on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can also tie in other things with this. Your local arts groups. You could do a paint and sip that's themed around the North Pole. You can do tree ornament decoratings that's themed around Christmas time. Plus, you could bring in more vendors because people could have one-stop Christmas shopping. They get on that train. They're traveling from all over the tri-state area. I've parked cars down there. They're traveling from Connecticut, from New York, from Delaware, from Philadelphia. They're coming here to ride this train. Why are we not capitalizing on that? Why are we not keeping those people here? Give them somewhere to stay in a hotel. Give them somewhere to eat. Give them somewhere to shop. Give them somewhere to take their kids where they feel safe. I don't feel safe, and I grew up here. These buildings are worn down. They're dilapidated. The grass is growing through the sidewalks. The stoops are falling apart. The windows are just, it's sad. It's depressed. And I think as long as you continue to let this look like this, you can redevelop this all you want. It's not going to work. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, I was prepared.
Council, do you have any questions for Mr. Irvin?
mentally prepared for questions.
Sure, I mean, I'd like to know why you're not on the planning board. That's what I'd like to know.
I don't know. They did ask me to come. They're nice.
I
That was
think,
CPC, I think, wasn't it?
I don't know. I had a bunch of people.
I think you would be an invaluable asset to the planning
Thank
board.
you.
I also think you're an invaluable asset to the town of Phillipsburg, and this is by far an excellent plan.
Thank you. I
You're
appreciate
very,
it.
very welcome.
Can I join in?
Yes,
Sure.
please.
Can I stay?
This way? Yeah, stay. Absolutely.
That's
All
right.
right. I want to do a little history lesson here. As much as I know, I'm going to go back to... No, stay. Take this back to 2005. That's when the original redevelopment plan was done. Planner at that time was Carolyn Neighbor. We worked for the same company, Short Palmer, back then. So what happens when you do, and Jamie can jump in on this, but when you do a redevelopment area, you have to first define what that redevelopment area is. And there's a process you go through. It's called, determination called an area in need of redevelopment study. And it's defined by the use of the site, whether it's blighted, what the crime is. And the town went through that, and with that, they defined what the areas are. So the area that you're most focused on being Union Square and then up toward Market Street, that's kind of where it ended because that's where the defined area was. We were getting into Lawyers Row at that point. There wasn't anything at all blatant about that. We liked that. So that was a plan that was in place, and there was a redeveloper at the time. I think he was dismissed since then, and that's the plan that we had. And it sat there. It's spiral bound, it goes up on a shelf, and not a lot gets done. So other things happened in town, like the Ingersoll property. In the administration back then, we had to concentrate on that. That was an all-out war to get something going over there, and it is now. And then start to focus. What can we do for the downtown? So Carolyn Nagel left my company, hired another planner named Dave Mass. And at that time, the Highlands came along, and the Highlands offered planning money back to towns. If you bought into Highlands in a way, they would give you funding back. So they supplied quite a bit of planning money back to town. But hey, Dave, what can we do to try to spark the downtown a little bit? So we took that original plan from 2005, and we modified it some. There was some different language that went in and went through. The planning board heard that, and went back up on the shelf. Nothing really happened with that. Dave left 2016. I had the opportunity to hire Angela Knowles, younger planner. Did you meet her yet? Okay, you two are going to be best friends. So she comes back down and said, what can we do to spark some interest in this whole downtown now? I mean, Ingersoll Rand was on a path to where it is now. We'll talk about schedule a little bit later with everybody. What can we do to spark that downtown? And the new administration came in, and you said we got to do something with the downtown, so things are starting to align in that regard. Angela went back to Highlands, reappropriated some money, and said, okay, concentrate on some more planning work for the downtown. So March of 2016, Mayor helped me out. We had this design charrette